I remember sitting across from the loan officer, staring at a number on the screen that didn't make sense to me. 7% on a 30-year mortgage. My stomach tightened. I felt my fingers tingle, then go cold, as if the screen itself had drawn the heat from my body. $350,000. That wasn't just a house. It was a lifetime of payments stacked on top of each other. My eyes flicked to the officer. He was typing something else, probably another calculation, probably oblivious to how that number landed on me. I nodded, but it was hollow. I wasn't really listening. Words floated around me, terms, rates, amortizations, but I couldn't process any of it. My mind kept circling back. Everyone else seems ahead of me. Friends, colleagues, cousins, strangers on Instagram. They bought houses, refinanced, had lower rates. And here I was, trapped in a number that felt punitive. I swallowed hard. My chest felt tight. My jaw clenched without thinking. The kind of tight that makes you aware of every heartbeat. My coffee cup shook slightly in my hand. I set it down, stared at the ceiling for a moment, wishing it would tell me what to do. The officer asked if I had questions. I said, "Can I wait a few months?" My voice barely audible. He smiled, polite, a hint of disbelief in his eyes. "Sure," he said, "but don't expect miracles. Credit scores move slowly." I nodded again, this time fully hearing him, fully understanding the weight of it. And yet, I didn't walk out feeling defeated. There was a tiny spark of curiosity. Not hope yet, just curiosity. A quiet, stubborn itch in my chest. And that's where everything started. That moment, the number on the screen, the cold coffee, the tight jaw, the polite smile, was the exact moment I realized the rules were not written for me, but about me. Here's the first thing I need you to know. None of this is your fault. You're not lazy. You're not careless. You didn't miss some secret class in money management that everyone else somehow attended. You've been following the rules, or at least trying to. You've been patient, cautious, and careful. And yet here you are, looking at numbers that feel designed to punish you. The problem isn't you, it's the system. The way credit scores work, the way interest compounds, the way lenders structure everything. It's built to keep people like you paying more, waiting longer, and wondering why. Most advice tells you to just be responsible and wait. Wait years, wait decades. Let your credit age like wine. Meanwhile, the system collects from your patience, your effort, your diligence. Every month spent stuck in a mediocre category costs you money. Real money. So stop blaming yourself. You didn't fail. You were never set up to win by the conventional rules. You were set up to follow them and pay the price anyway. That's the quiet embarrassment you feel at the dinner table, the glance at a friend's text about their mortgage, the hesitation when you hear someone casually talk about credit limits or interest rates. It's not shame, it's recognition. And once you recognize it, you can start doing something about it. The first step isn't fixing your credit. It's forgiving yourself for thinking this was ever your fault. Everyone tells you the same thing. Credit scores take forever to improve. Months, years, decades. Open a card, pay it on time, keep your balance low. Don't open too many accounts, and eventually, you'll reach excellent. Technically true, practically misleading. Because the advice makes it sound like time is the only lever, like you're at the mercy of calendars and billing cycles, like there's nothing you can do but wait, and that's exactly what keeps people trapped. That's what keeps banks earning more from people who could be in a better position. That's why someone with a 680 score stays there for years, paying higher interest on a car loan, a mortgage, a credit card. They're profitable customers. They don't get help. It feels inevitable. You nod. You think, okay, guess I wait. But what if it isn't inevitable? What if there are rules everyone overlooks? Tools built into the system that actually let you move faster. Mechanisms that aren't secret, but nobody talks about because the banks profit from silence? It's not cheating. It's not exploiting glitches. It's not bending the rules. It's playing by the rules most people never notice. And here's the thing. Once you see the system clearly, the numbers stop being terrifying. The timelines stop being oppressive. You start to realize the slow path isn't mandatory, it's optional. This is where frustration turns into curiosity, where embarrassment turns into a plan, where the truth, the real mechanics of credit, starts to feel less like punishment and more like an opportunity. Here's how it really works. Credit scores aren't magic. They're math, predictive models, statistical forecasts. The question they ask isn't, are you responsible? It's, how likely are you to default on debt in the next 24 months? That's it. That's the system's whole job. It looks at your history, your payment behavior, your balances, your account ages, compares it to millions of other people, spots patterns correlated with defaults, patterns correlated with reliability, and it spits out a number. That's your credit score. The single biggest factor? Payment history, about 35% of your score. Did you pay your bills on time? Late? Missed payments? That's the core. Next is utilization, 30%. How much of your available credit are you actually using? A $1,000 balance on a $10,000 limit looks very different than $1,000 on a $2,000 limit. That ratio, the percentage, carries huge weight. Then comes the length of your credit history, roughly 15%. Oldest account, newest account, average account age. People assume this is fixed. Opened your first card at 18? You're stuck with 12 years at 30. Nothing to be done. Just wait. But that assumption is wrong. That's the loophole. The authorized user strategy. Become an authorized user on someone else's account. Your mom's, your dad's, a trusted relative. And that account's entire history shows up on your report. All of it. Age, utilization, perfect payments. Instantly. Suddenly, your average account age might jump from 2 years to 12. Your available credit doubles or triples. Your longest account history extends by decades. That number the system calculates, it can jump 100 points or more in a matter of months, not years. It's not trickery. Banks, brokers, credit companies, they all know this. They've known for decades, but no one tells you. Because the longer you spend in the good but not excellent category, the more money the system collects from you. Every high-interest payment, every slightly worse mortgage rate, it's profit that disappears once your score climbs. Once you understand the mechanics, the math, the factors, the ratios, the history, you stop guessing. You see which levers actually move the needle. You stop playing the slow game, hoping time will rescue you. You start using the system on purpose. And that's when it stops being intimidating. That's when it starts being actionable. Patricia walked into the lender's office 3 months ago with a credit score of 621. She stared at the screen. 7% on a $350,000 mortgage. Her stomach sank. She nodded, polite, but her fingers tapped the table. Her mind kept circling the same thought. Everyone else seems ahead. She asked if she could wait 90 days before locking in a rate. The loan officer smiled, polite, skeptical. Credit scores don't change that fast, he said. She nodded again, but this time with determination in her chest. Fast forward 93 days. Patricia walked back in. Her credit score? 761. The loan officer paused. Did you use a different social security number? He asked, incredulous. No, she hadn't. She had simply used a mechanism built into the system. Authorized user trade lines. Her mother had 3 credit cards, combined history over 40 years, perfect payments, low utilization. Patricia became an authorized user on all 3. Within 2 billing cycles, her short, thin credit file transformed. Average account age jumped. Available credit tripled. Score soared. That 140-point jump saved her over $215,000 in lifetime mortgage interest. Then there's Marcus, 24 years old, credit score 589. Mistakes in college, missed payments, maxed store card, needed a car loan, rates above 14%. His grandfather had credit cards dating to 1987. Perfect history, combined limits over $60,000. Marcus added as authorized user. No physical cards, no access. Purely strategic. 60 days later, his report showed 37 years of perfect history. Score jumped to 697. Auto loan rate dropped to 6%. Over 5 years, that difference saved nearly $5,200 in interest. These aren't hacks. They're not loopholes in the illegal sense. They're system features ignored by most consumers. And the impact is immediate, tangible, measurable. Ordinary people, ordinary starting points, specific actions, results you can see on a screen. The stories make the insight concrete. Theory becomes something you can touch, something you can do. Here's the sequence that matters. Not just what to do, but when to do it. Because momentum comes from order, not volume. Step 1. Authorize users. Find someone you trust, parents, grandparents, close family, accounts with long histories, perfect payments, low balances. Ask to be added. You don't need the physical card. You don't need access. Just the history. That's the fastest, biggest jump you can get. Patricia did it with 3 accounts. Marcus did it with 2. Both saw dramatic changes in weeks. Step 2. Utilization timing. Your score looks at reported balances, usually on the statement closing date, not the payment due date. Paying early isn't enough if the balance is still high when the statement closes. Reduce the balance right before the closing date. A few days timing can add 20 to 40 points. It's immediate. 1 billing cycle. Step 3. Credit limit increases. Many banks approve increases with no hard pull. Doubling your limits can have your utilization instantly. You carry the same balances, but your ratio improves. Scores rise. Borrowing power improves. Check each card every 6 to 12 months. Small math changes, big impact. Step 4. Strategic account management. Keep the oldest accounts open, even if you rarely use them. Close newer accounts that drag down your average age or serve no purpose. Each decision affects your score's age calculation. Not all accounts are equal. Step 5. Rapid rescoring during major applications. If you're applying for a mortgage, a car loan, anything time-sensitive, lenders can request immediate updates to your credit report. Pay off a balance, submit proof, see the score updated in 48 to 72 hours instead of waiting a full billing cycle. Timing your actions around applications maximizes benefit. Follow this sequence. Not all at once, step by step. Momentum builds when the first wins compound into the next. Miss the order and the impact diminishes. Even small improvements executed in the right order create noticeable change. 1 or 2 points here, 30 points there. Suddenly your score isn't just a number, it's leverage. Here's the thing most people never realize. You don't need decades to make meaningful progress. Patricia went from 621 to 761 in 93 days. Marcus went from 589 to 697 in 60. Real numbers, real time. Not luck, not cheating, just using the system intentionally. The conventional advice says, wait, let your history age, pay on time, keep balances low. Decades pass. You watch friends get ahead. You think you're failing. But the slow path isn't mandatory, it's optional. Starting correctly beats starting early. The system responds to deliberate action. Authorized user accounts, utilization timing, credit limit increases. They're levers that move fast if you pull them in the right order. 1 cycle, 2 cycles. Suddenly the numbers reflect what you've actually done, not how long you've been patient. Imagine looking at a mortgage rate screen, a car loan quote, or a credit card limit, and instead of sighing, you nod, because you know your score is no longer a passive number ticking upward slowly. You've compressed time. You've shifted decades of advantage into months. That's what time compression does. It turns the abstract good credit in the future into tangible action you can see, measure, and use today. Here's the real enemy, not the interest rates, not the credit bureaus, not even the numbers on a screen. It's shame. That quiet voice that says, you should have done better. That hesitation that keeps you from picking up the phone, asking for help, or making a move. Shame leads to avoidance. You wait, you delay, you tell yourself you'll fix it later. That later becomes months, years, decades, and every delay costs you higher interest, smaller limits, fewer opportunities. Most people never name it. They let the cycle run unchecked. Embarrassment at a low score leads to inaction, leads to deeper regret, leads to more embarrassment. A spiral. You feel stuck. You look around and think everyone else knows the secret. Awareness breaks it. Just seeing the cycle for what it is strips it of power. You can choose to move. You can choose to act despite discomfort. Even 1 small step interrupts the spiral. Asking to be added as an authorized user, paying a balance early, requesting a limit increase. Shame doesn't disappear, but it stops controlling you. Awareness gives you leverage, and leverage gives you options. Here's what you can do in the next 48 hours. Not research, not planning, action. Step 1. Pick one trusted person, parent, grandparent, close relative, whose credit history is long, clean, and low in utilization. Ask to be added as an authorized user on one of their oldest accounts. No physical card needed, no access required, just the history. That's it. Done. Step 2. Pick one card you already have. Check the statement closing date. Pay down the balance before it closes, not just by the due date. Even a partial reduction shifts your utilization ratio, and your score can jump in the next billing cycle. Step 3. If possible, request a credit limit increase on one card. Soft pull only. If approved, your utilization drops immediately without changing your behavior. These 3 steps, authorized user, utilization timing, limit increase, are enough to produce measurable movement in your score. Do them now. Don't wait for perfect timing. Don't wait for the right month. Movement creates momentum, and momentum is what makes change real. Here's the thing. The numbers don't define you. The benchmarks, the scores, the rates, they're not the point. What matters is direction. Are you moving forward or standing still? Success isn't hitting some arbitrary, excellent number overnight. It's understanding the system, taking deliberate steps, and shifting your trajectory. Patricia's 140-point jump didn't happen because she was lucky. It happened because she acted with knowledge. You have the same tools, the same levers, the same opportunity to compress time, break the shame cycle, and turn inaction into momentum. So, look at your screen, your credit report, your next financial decision, not with fear, not with shame, but with curiosity. And ask yourself, which step can I take right now to move in the right direction? That question, unanswered, stays with you, and that's where the real power begins.